Alright, what's going on YouTube? I just wanted to give you a quick overview, show you my custom Arc browser theme that I've set up. So the main work that I've done in this theme is created these icons up here for the genres. I use the same icons for all the different systems, but each system does have its own all games genre all picture, and I'll be showing you later how to set all this up. I'll be showing you how to install the theme, how to modify the theme, how to use the overlays that I show you here in the overview. So as we go through and I show you each system and what it looks like in RetroArch, I'll later be showing you how to set that up inside of RetroArch. And then I'll show you where to get the files, and I'll show you the artwork that's provided and how you can modify that as well. So let me go ahead and get started and show you inside of Arc browser what my theme looks like and what some of my games look like. So here's the all systems category, and you can see all the genre icons here. These are the ones that my main contribution to this theme. So let's go ahead and look at the first system. First one I'll be pulling up is MAME, and here's the all games category. Go ahead and show you a few of the games as we go through and show you what it looks like when you click on one of the games from this category. Let me go ahead and scroll down to Street Fighter. And then when you click on a game from this category, you'll get these different options. You can change some settings from here, and you can check out your artwork. Alright, let's go ahead and start this game up. This is loading up RetroArch, and I've got a custom overlay set up on this. Alright, so since I'm using MAME, I've got to go ahead and put some quarters in. And I don't have the controller set up real well for MAME yet, so if I'm not playing so hot, you can just use this as a demo to see what it looks like. Alright, so that's what my MAME setup looks like, and you saw the custom overlay there. That's the main thing that you'll see inside of RetroArch that is any different from anybody else's setup from somebody's using using RetroArch. Alright, so next system is Atari. Here's the all games category. Here's a few of the different games. And I'm going to go ahead and load up Pitfall. And so I'll just play through this just a little bit for you guys. Okay, I suck at this game. Alright, I'm going to back out of here and back to Arc browser. Okay, so that was Atari. And here's my Game Boy setup. And you can go through and look at each of the genres here and see what we've got for adventure. I'm going to load up one of my favorite old games on here, Motocross Maniacs. Alright, let me go ahead and back out of here and back to Arc browser. That was Game Boy. Check out Game Boy Advance. Here's a few of the games. And let's see, I'll load up some Metal Slug. Alright, back out of here. Next up, we've got Game Boy Color. All games category. And let's see what I've got. A Super Mario Deluxe. Let's load that up. Okay, that really sucked. Alright, back to Arc browser. Nintendo category. You got plenty of Nintendo games. I'll load up some Super Mario 3. And something you gotta love about RetroArch, you can rewind if you mess up. And next category, Nintendo 64 games. I do have an overlay made for RetroArch on this, but RetroArch is not my favorite emulator for Nintendo 64 games. I think I'm using, I can't remember which version. Let me see what I'm using on this. Mupen 64. I'm using one of the versions of Mupen 64, but I like this a heck of a lot better for than RetroArch. But RetroArch does have the rewind capabilities, but it doesn't rewind that much on a Nintendo 64, so not that bothered. So no overlays on this one, but you can check out some of the emulation. Oops. Alright, we'll back to Arc browser. And next up, PlayStation. Don't think I have many PlayStation games on here, and I'm not sure how well the system will record with PlayStation being emulated and the screen being recorded, but we'll go ahead and see if this plays okay. I've already got a game started. And this emulator is EPSXE. I do have a RetroArch PlayStation overlay created, but like Nintendo 64, I'm not crazy about the emulation on within RetroArch for these systems. There's better emulators in my opinion. And next up, some Genesis, a few of the games. Got some Altered Beast on here. And definitely got to play some Sonic if you're playing Genesis. So we're in RetroArch now. Got the custom overlay for Genesis set up. And the main thing to see here is just the overlays in here. Next up, Super Nintendo. And let's see what I played recently. Super Mario All-Stars. And let's do some Street Fighter. And we're in RetroArch, so we've got a custom overlay there. Doesn't look like this one's running too good. Let me load something else up. Let's try Super Street Fighter. Alright, that one looks better. And it does seem like Super Nintendo runs my system a little bit hard for screen recording at the same time, so if this is slow while I'm recording this video, I apologize for that, but still you get to see the overlay and everything. And so that's pretty much it for the overlay. I've got some custom icons for these menu items as well. And the main contribution on this theme was these icons, the genre icons for each of these. And I used the same ones. I didn't create any system specific icons, but overall I created all these in Photoshop, and I also provide the files so that if you want to go in and use these to add to them, how to create your own theme files, you can use that. So I'll provide that as well. And I'll show you next how to set all of this up inside of Arc Browser. So that's where we're going next. Alright, next up I'm going to show you how to set this all up in Arc Browser and what to do with the files. So take the link that I put in the description, download this file. It's about 60 megs. This is a 7-zip file, so once it finishes downloading, you'll need some kind of program that can extract 7-zip files. And open up the file open up the folder that it extracts to. And before we put this onto the Android device, I just want to show you what's in the folder. So the main folder that you're going to put on your Android device is this Arc theme folder. And I'll put a link in the description about how to set up an Arc Browser theme. The creator has written a little tutorial and he shows you what to do. There's a main theme.txt. Inside theme.txt you've got all of these settings. Each one of them is pretty much self-explanatory. It's got colors, background colors. Each one of these colors, if you do want to modify any of these colors and customize your own theme, you can just look on Google for a web color picker, and you can pick your own colors, and that will be this number. So this number is just black, all zeros. And then the first two numbers, this is all in hexadecimal, so you may have to look up a little hexadecimal. But the first two numbers of any of these, if there are two numbers, like for example this color, there's no two first numbers. So that means that this is fully opaque, not transparent at all. If you want opacity or a little bit translucent, you can put a number between 0 and 255 in hexadecimal. So you'll have to go on Google and do a hexadecimal converter. If you want 50% opacity, for example, you need 50% of 255, so about 122 or so, or 125 or so. Convert that to hexadecimal and then put that number as your first two numbers. So a little complicated if you do want to set it up, but this is the theme.txt that you'll use. That has to be in there. You can modify any of the fonts in here, font sizes, and see how they look. You'll just have to restart Arc Browser each time you do that. So that's one thing that you'll need. The other files, this default background, this is what's going to be used as your background. It's the one I've got set in there. But if you look in this Tron theme folder, there's a whole bunch of these in there. You can set any one of these as your background. All you have to do is rename it to default background and put that in your Arc theme folder and replace this one. The rest of the files in here, these PNG files, are your genre folders. This one is for the all games category for all the systems. And this goes in your Arc theme folder. And these other icons are for the settings menu inside of Arc Browser. You'll also take these. Let me see what else is in this folder. If you go to the genre all, no text, you can find the system that you're looking for. For example, Game Boy Advance. This has no text on top of it, so it doesn't say all games on top of it. You will put this inside of your Game Boy Advance ROMs folder, and Browser will display this as your genre all for that category. Text. I've also got ones with text. So if we look at that same one, the Game Boy Advance one, it says all games on top of it. So I've put some text in there for you. So it just depends on how you're setting up your theme. You may decide to leave text on inside of Arc Browser. In that case, you don't want to have this written on top of it because it'll say all games inside the picture, and then you'll also have all games written on top of it. So I just pick the one that works best with your setup. And then we've also got the overlays inside of here, and these all have a config file. So each of these, you can pick these for use with RetroArch. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is transfer this folder, Arc Theme, over to your Android device. I'm using my phone right now. I normally set this all up on my Fire TV, but it doesn't record so well. It doesn't record the screen so well. So I'm just going to show you on my phone. The way I'll do it on my phone, personally, I'll go into ES File Explorer, go to Network. So go to Network here. Inside of Network, you're looking for Remote Manager, and click Turn On. It's going to give you an address, this FTP address. You're going to type that into your address bar. So FTP, the one that it gave me was this 60. Find wherever you want to put it. You can put it wherever you like. I put it in the same folder as my ROMs. I've already got it there, so I'll just delete it and show you how this works. Okay, so I'm copying it. You can just Control-C to copy. And go to the ROMs folder or wherever you're going to put it and paste it in. You could also just hook your phone up through USB and drag and drop your files on there onto your phone or whatever device you're doing this on. But on a Fire TV or Android box, it's pretty easy to use ES File Explorer and do the Remote Manager way. Alright, once you've got those files on your Android device, inside your Android device, go ahead and open up Arc Browser. And inside of Arc Browser, go over to your settings, go to Settings, and I think it's in Global UI Settings. Inside of here, you're going to browse and find the Arc Theme folder. Mine's already there, but just browse until you find wherever you put it and hit select this directory, hit OK, and restart Arc Browser however you like. You can back out of the settings, and the first setting up there is restart Arc Browser, and this will pull in all the files that you put there. Alright, so this is what you'll see. You're right now in the All Systems category, so you should have all of this for all systems. Now for each of your systems that you want, for example, if we're going to look at MAME, if you want this All Games category to be here and all these genre icons, you'll need to go into the folder that you extracted the zip to. With text is what I've got displayed here. MAME, copy this, go to your ROMs folder, wherever you're keeping your MAME ROMs, you're going to paste that into there. Mine's already got it there, so I'll go ahead and overwrite it. Okay, now if you were to restart Arc Browser right now, we're just looking at the MAME folder right now, but it'll be the same for any system that you have. And let's take a look at what that system looks like now that ROM dragged the genre all into that ROM folder. If we look at MAME, we've only got the All Games category. You can see the rest of these have nothing there for them yet. So back into the File Explorer, we need to go into the genre folder. Go ahead and copy all of these. Go to your MAME ROMs folder on your Android device. Paste all of these into there. go ahead and restart Arc browser. And now if we look at the MAME system, you can see we've got all the genres there. So any genre of game that you've got will show up on this list, and your all games category is special for MAME. So it's the same process for all your different emulators. Any system that you have, for Super Nintendo or Game Boy or whatever you have, do get the genre all, put it in the ROMs folder, and get all your genre pings and put them in that folder as well, and it will look like ROM does. Now for using the overlays inside of RetroArch, what you'll need to do is copy this overlays folder over to somewhere on your Android device. I just put it all inside the ROMs folder on side of my Fire TV. So if you look, I've already got overlays here. Got all the pings and the config files. So we'll go into RetroArch real quick. And when you're inside of RetroArch, once you've got a core loaded up, or you've got a game loaded up inside of a core, so let me show you Game Boy real quick. So you can load up any Game Boy game. Now what you're going to want to do on here is open up your settings. We're inside the quick menu. I'm not going to do a tutorial on RetroArch. You can look that up elsewhere. There's a couple of tutorials on YouTube for that. You can either do this inside of the quick menu. You find the on-screen overlay, or you can also go over to the settings here, and there's an on-screen display here. These are both the same menu. Go to on-screen overlay, scroll down to where it says overlay preset. You'll browse into the folder wherever you put overlays and select the one that you want. You can, on your computer, you can look through and find what each of them are, or you can just try each of these. I've got a bunch of different Game Boy ones here. Most of these are custom created by me or modified by me from other ones that I've got from other places. And none of mine have scan lines on top of them. So if you want that, you can go find overlays elsewhere. But mine were all created pretty much for full screen with no scan lines on top of them. So I've got GameBoy.config already selected on this, and when you're in the game, then you'll see the overlay set up on there. Most of these are already set up to work with the default aspect ratio, so you shouldn't have to do any custom resizing of the screen. They should just work. Alright, so you'll do that for every system that you have. Once you're done with that, once you've got it the way you like it for that system, what you'll have to do is inside of RetroArch in the menu, you'll have to go into the quick menu. Scroll to the bottom, and there's something called configuration of override options. You'll do inside here. You're going to save core overrides. So saving core overrides will mean anytime you use this core, we're using Gambat for Game Boy right now, it will use these settings. It will use that overlay anytime it loads up that core. So you'll do that for each of your systems, once for Nintendo, once for Super Nintendo, Genesis, etc. You'll have to go in for each system that you want to set up like that to get it to look the way that I had it in the demo before. So to summarize here, if you want to change the look of the theme, you can go into the theme.txt and change the settings in here. If you want to change the way the background looks, you need default background, and I provided a few. You can download your own and put whatever default background.png. It does have to be in ping format. Mine are all a bunch of Tron artwork. I thought it just looked cool, so you can put any of these as your background. There's plenty more settings to mess with inside of Arc Browser. This video is already plenty long, so I'm not going to go over all of it. And I'll provide some links in the description for setting up the themes, links that have been provided by the creator of Arc Browser, how to set it up and everything. That concludes this video. I'll be doing some future videos on how to get my exact setup. I'll provide my games and provide a lot of extra work already done for you. So if you want to see that, be sure to check back and download those. If you liked the video, you got something out of it, please give me a thumbs up. Helps out the channel. And thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.